If you have been using our Dean & Bean's original model sock machine and are now transitioning to the upgraded camshell, we just wanted to give you a few tips and tricks, particularly before we get all of our patterns and crank-along videos transitioned over. The main thing to know is that the working area has moved to the front of the machine, and the yarn feeder, of course, now is more like 7 o'clock. It used to be at 12 o'clock. So the main thing for following pattern directions is that the marks are going to be off. So for example, if it told you to do something at 1 o'clock, usually it stopped at 1 o'clock because that's where you would change to a new color of yarn. But now you're going to want to crank around to about 6 o'clock, and then the actual yarn would switch over at right at the yarn feeder. And there's a separate video, two separate videos on how to load the yarn feeder and how to change colors of yarn. So that's one main thing, is that the working area is now here. If it had previously told you to stop with the main mark at 3 o'clock, that main mark is now going to be at 9 o'clock. So for example, if it told you to stop with the main mark at 9, and then, at 3, and to lift all the needles at the bottom half of the cylinder, instead the main mark will be at 9, and you'll lift all the needles along the top half of the cylinder. So really, it's not different other than wrapping your head around the fact that it's upside down. But having the working area at the front is really nice. It's a lot easier to see what's going on. It's particularly helpful when using the ribber and knitting color work. Another thing to think about related to that is that the row counter is here, right? So it sits right here off the box. So it used to be that as soon as you started a row, the row counter would change, and now it changes halfway through the row. I actually find that to be more convenient, because if I need to crank to row 20, for example, the row counter will change to row 20 here. And so by the time the main mark gets back around to here, I know that I am done with my 20th row. Another big change is that you no longer have to tuck in the latches when you push down a needle. There's a whole separate video on this, but very briefly, you don't push them all the way down because that will close the latches. Just go part way down, and then they put themselves back into work, no trouble. One other change is that we're finding you have to use a heavier weight. So I used to use primarily the medium weight, and now I use primarily the heavier weight. There is another whole video on adjusting cams and tension, but that is a thing to know. As I said, we're updating everything else. These are just a few tips to get you started. I hope that helps, and we're really excited to share this new machine with you and hope you love cranking on it. Happy knitting! Visit us at deanandbean.com and please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.